Good morning, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale. Special update for you guys today regarding USDA's monthly supply-demand report. Today's date is October 10th of 2019. USDA gave us a little surprise here as far as the corn and soybean numbers here today. As far as the corn production, we did see in this case a very slight movement from USDA, a very slight decline, going from last month's 13.799 to now 13.779 billion bushels. So a very slight decline there. Bottom line for the discussion point is a very slight decline on harvested acres by 200,000 acres and a very slight increase for corn yields, now 168.4. In the grand scheme of things, that was not much of a major surprise here to the trade. In terms of the issues regarding demand, this is where USDA really hit this market hard here today. We did see a moderate increase, in fact a good increase for feed residual, up 125 million bushels for this current new crop discussion point. And this is probably from that last grain stocks report, which indicated fourth quarter corn demand a little better than expected, which was feed residual. However, though they did raise feed residual by 125, they lowered the other portions of demand by 200 million bushels. In fact, corn exports down 150 million bushels on just 1 month. That's actually a pretty good drop. Corn for ethanol down 50. On both of those, we actually do agree with them. Keep in mind, this corn export sales pace is pretty poor. We're running sales right now 52% under last year on the same date. So we do have some very severe problems on the corn export side. And actually, I think these numbers are relatively reasonable from USDA's viewpoint. Corn, as we mentioned, for ethanol, down 50 million bushels. This does fit into this discussion point that ethanol, now 5% under last year as far as year-to-date production since September, is a problem for us here. Now, as far as the other numbers on the world side, USDA did not adjust any numbers as far as corn production for Argentina or Brazil. So in this case, not much of an impact from the world numbers there. On the soybean side of things here, USDA did, in this case, lower soybean production, maybe a little more than the trade was expecting to see. Last month, 3.633 billion bushels, now 3.550 billion bushels. And this came about from a very slight 300,000 acre drop on harvested acres for soybeans. However, they did lower yield by 1 full bushel, now 46.9 bushels per acre. On the demand side, USDA actually made a very slight increase of only 5 million bushels higher on domestic crush. So bottom line for us on the soybean side, smaller than expected supply, and USDA actually raised demand on this report. That puts stocks now at 460 million bushels. That was lower than the 521 trade estimate. As far as the world side of things here, USDA made no changes to Brazil or Argentina's production numbers. So on this one, not much of a big surprise there. And as far as the Chinese balance sheet, they actually left all the numbers unchanged from last month's report. And wrapping up our discussion with the wheat side of things here, USDA did, of course, lower the production numbers. And, that was already discussed back on September 30th in the small grains summary report. So no surprise with the drop in terms of production for wheat. We will point out that USDA did take down their estimate as far as seed use by about 30 million bushels in this report. Also, they dropped exports by 25 million bushels on this report. So bottom line for us, despite a drop in production on this report for wheat, USDA raised ending stocks, going from 1.014 to now 1.043 billion bushels. And as far as the wheat side of things here, on the some of the hot button issues, USDA surprisingly made no changes to the Russian wheat crop, still left it at 72.5 million tons. Keep in mind, the Russian government currently says 78. So it's likely we'll see those numbers revised higher in future reports. So bottom line for us today, we did see a larger than expected corn ending stock number, soybean stocks a little lower than expected, and wheat stocks a little higher than expected.